Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fight Addicts. Get ready to explore the past, present, and future of MMA with your hosts, Seth Oliver and Ben Korn.
What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fight Addicts. Today is July the 14th, 2019. Ben, how's it going tonight?
It's going pretty good.
Good.
We have a lot that is going on since the last time that we talked about fighting.
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
It really
Everything
has.
that's happened.
Yeah.
Starting off with Masvidal's flying knee.
That is the really, going into it, I thought that, Askren was going to wrestle Masvidal. But when there was no way that I thought that was going to be the sterling moment of the evening. Like the highlight of the night.
Yeah.
I really didn't see any way that it was going to be produced there from Masvidal. I thought Jones might do it. Nunes tried to do it.
Yeah.
I
would have given it to Nunes probably out of anybody if I had to pick before. But it was crazy. Crazy night of fights. I don't even know how to describe it. I was in so much shock with the knee that it was crazy.
It was such a build to such a giant dud of a main event.
Yeah.
To just being oh, well, maybe he's not the best in the world. Maybe it was all PEDs and cocaine. Maybe it was, who knows. But he couldn't beat that guy with a blown knee. I don't know why he didn't take him down. I don't understand
it was kind of weird.
At all.
Yeah.
But
now, how did you score the fight? Because did you hear Dana White's post-fight commentary about it?
I heard his comments about it, and that's Dana being Dana. It was super close. It wasn't a robbery either way.
Right.
I'm of the opinion that you have to beat the champ to win the belt. I'm very much of the opinion that it needs to be decisive for you to take the belt off of someone in a decision. And it wasn't. So Jones won.
Right.
And I have no problem with that because he was the champion. If Thiago Santos.
Thiago Santos.
Yeah, Thiago Santos. If Thiago Santos had won or had been the champion, I would be upset because the champion would have lost this super close fight that he shouldn't have lost.
Right, and that's why you think that GSP beat John Hendricks, right?
Yeah, pretty much. If Hendricks had been the champion forever and it was a close fight like that, Hendricks should have won.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So is there any doubt in your mind after UFC 239 that Amanda Nunes is the GOAT of women's MMA?
No.
Yeah, I think she pretty much solidified it there, and I think that everybody's in agreement of that. So, as they should be.
Yeah.
Probably has the best resume in women's MMA that I can think of.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah, pretty much unmatched there.
Because of the relative, who else could possibly, Cyborg, I guess, could possibly have a similar resume, but she
and
can't
then Nunes she beat Cyborg.
Yeah,
so.
And she can't fight anybody that's under 135. I guess Nunes can't, and Nunes can't either. But Cyborg can't even make 135.
Nunes fought Valentina Shevchenko. She
25?
fights at 125. No, she didn't fight her at 25.
Okay.
But I'm just saying she fought somebody that can make that weight.
Oh, yeah. Well, see, that was the thing about Cyborg. She fought a bunch of people that were 125-pound women. And she's 160-pound woman.
Yeah.
Woman. So it's
Vanderlei Silva in a wig.
Yeah, dude. I mean, yeah. Her former husband in a wig. That's a fun fighter from the past.
Who's her husband?
Her ex-husband.
Her ex-husband.
Evangelista Cyborg Santos, the original Cyborg.
Okay.
He fought Nick Diaz in Strikeforce. He fought. If you want to see true ultra violence, go look up Cyborg Santos, Evangelista Cyborg Santos against Melvin Manhoff. That's beastly, ridiculous, such aggressive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed up at that point in Strikeforce with the Nick Diaz run when Nick Diaz was the champion. But they just brought in these guys that were ultra violence dealers to just hit Nick Diaz in the face. If Nick Diaz he should try and take them to the floor. He will submit them there.
Yeah.
But he's just I'm going to bang with Paul Daly. I'm gonna go drag Mario Zaromskis out into deep waters and drown him on the feet. And it's like, that guy doesn't even know how to like defend. Like, I mean, I'm sure he knows what guard is and stuff like that. But
right.
You have a Gracie Jiu-Jitsu black belt. This guy is pretty close to one-dimensional. And you're like, well, we need to trade in the pocket, and I'm going to put my hands up.
Yeah.
And that's what made him who he is. That's what got his little brother to fight with Conor McGregor.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Luke Rockhold's unsuccessful 205-pound debut?
It felt like I picked it correctly. It felt like everything that I've been saying about Luke Rockhold is true, and now everyone else is saying it. Because, like, after that happened, all of a sudden everyone's like, oh, yeah, he could never fight for the belt at 205. Like, he should never fight John Jones. I was like, I told you that. I told all of you that way before like, the minute that they said he's going to 205, I'm like, that's not a good idea. I get that he should fight at his natural weight class, but his advantage needs to be that he's bigger than everybody.
Right.
You know, like, he's not John Jones in that. I mean, John Jones is bigger than everybody that's going to fight, but I don't know. Like, Jones can beat Cormier. Like, Jones can beat another guy that can fight at heavyweight. He can beat the heavyweight champion of the world. You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and then finally to close out that main card, what'd you think of Diego Sanchez and Michael Chiesa?
Again, it felt exactly like I had a crystal ball as far as being proven right. You know? Yeah. It's the way that I thought the Mickey Gall fight was going to go, and it didn't because he like had kidney failure. It's like, well, okay.
Yeah.
But I thought it was interesting that Diego decided to check the oil on Michael Chiesa during the fight.
Yeah.
That was a strange maneuver.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
And for those of you that don't know what that is, Ben can explain for you what checking the oil is.
At one point, he inserted his finger into the anus of his opponent. That would be Diego Sanchez against Michael Chiesa. Which I think is horrible and should be disqualified for. Yeah. I mean, it's not like he stuck his hand down his pants. Like, he had pants on. But, yeah, still not okay.
Right.
Although there is the fact that Diego got bit in his last fight.
Yeah, right in the chest.
So,
yeah.
You know, and he didn't complain about that. So that doesn't, two wrongs don't make a right. But
yeah,
when you're an animal,
yeah,
you're crazy. That happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this weekend's past card, I actually missed it because I was attending a wedding. So I caught a couple fights from the main card. I saw the top three, the fights that everybody really cares about. But Jermaine Durandamy and the comeback.
Yeah.
2 comebacks. Her and Uriah Faber, both getting quick knockouts. What was your assessment of both those?
That's the worst thing that could happen for the UFC. On
both of them? Or
Uriah has some legs in the sense of, if he could win one more fight, and in today's marketplace, he doesn't have to win one more fight. You can just sell him versus Cejudo.
You can.
Yeah.
You can but sell that right now.
I mean, like, most people will be like, what is Uriah Faber in his, like, last 5 title shots? He's like 0-5 or something crazy. Like, I don't have the statistic in front of me, but I do know that he repeatedly lost to Dominic Cruz, got destroyed by Jose Aldo.
He got beat by Renan Barão.
He lost twice to Mike Brown. Like, he lost the belt to Mike Brown and then lost the rematch to Mike Brown.
Yeah.
So, like, Mike Brown. Okay?
Yeah.
Like, you don't think that Mike Brown might, like, here's the thing about Uriah and saying he lost to Mike Brown. Mike Brown is huge compared to Uriah Faber. Like, that was at 145. And so that's the difference. Is like, Mike Brown could, like, eat Henry Cejudo. Like, he's 6 inches taller and weighs like 40 pounds more in reality.
Right.
So it's like, well, I think that Uriah'd be bigger. It'd be interesting if Uriah was 10 years younger, 15 years younger. If you got like WEC Uriah Faber to fight Henry Cejudo, like never lost Uriah Faber, or maybe lost once or whatever, Uriah Faber, to fight Henry Cejudo, that'd be intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
But it would have already happened because the talent pool is so thin that it would have probably already happened twice.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So now you have the cool thing of Benavidez.
Yeah.
To be the savior.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you think that Benavidez beats Cejudo in their rematch?
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I don't know.
I think he has a good chance, but also Henry's definitely riding his wave of momentum right now. Because I didn't expect Marlon Moraes or him to beat Marlon Moraes. He did that pretty impressively after the first round. I feel like he probably takes the Benavidez rematch too at this point in his career. But you never know.
Here's the thing. If they put Benavidez as an underdog, like
plus money?
Yeah, plus money. Then you should probably put some money on Benavidez.
Yeah, which reminded me, a lot of people probably made good money on Faber because I think he was a plus 285 underdog going into it.
Okay.
So any bets on that?
Let's talk about that for a minute. Like, all right. Yeah, you did good. You know, it's fighting. Anything can happen. And, you know, some people are like, oh, yeah, I called it when Sarah knocked out GSP and made however much money. Well, you didn't, actually. Nobody did that. Not true. But, yeah, like, I feel like if Ricky Simone fought Uriah Faber 100 times, that Uriah Faber wins like 15 of them exactly like that, where he clips him super early when he's at peak performance. He wins like 25% of the time, and 15 of those 25 look exactly like that. The other 10, he dives on a guillotine. He hurts him, and then he just locks up a guillotine, kind of standing and drops down with him.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, he's choking him. He's done. He gets him the way that he got Dominic Cruz.
Okay.
In their first meeting.
Yeah.
Like, he just chokes him. He's like, I'm strong. Little alpha. Strong. Got a good squeeze, you know?
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, I mean, and obviously he's good. He's dangerous and everything, but you need to go back and watch, like, Alex Karalexis versus Uriah Faber. That's when I was like, what's going on? Mm-hmm. Why is Uriah Faber even in the cage with Alex Karalexis? Or not Karalexis. Caceres. Alex Caceres. Bruce Leroy.
I understood what you meant.
Why is he fighting Bruce Leroy? And then Bruce Leroy looked good. Like, I think Bruce Leroy won a round in there. And I was like, oh, that dude didn't win the Ultimate Fighter. Like, this guy, Uriah Faber's supposed to be, like, the greatest from his era of, like, little guy fighter. When little guys stopped at 155, Uriah Faber was always that what if. And Miguel Torres. Let's not forget about Miguel Angel Torres.
He actually came up this week on one of ESPN MMA's posts because they had like best mullets, and it was like Ricky Simone, Vitor Belfort, Miguel Torres,
very
and
good.
Roy Nelson.
Yeah.
And people were commenting like, I bet a bunch of y'all don't even know who Miguel Torres is. So
yeah. There was an argument back in the day that he was the best fighter pound for pound on the planet. Because
it's crazy now because you never hear anybody talk about him.
He was kind of like a more, he was so long for being 135 pounds. He looks like Dominic Cruz in terms of his body type. And he was more striky than Dominic Cruz was. And could bang, you know.
Yeah.
Had some power, had some good kicks, stuff like that. And he's quick.
Yeah.
But then once he got into the UFC, like, he got in some trouble because he made some kind of like rape van tweet. And yeah, seriously. And then like he got like suspended for it or something, and he was like, it's a line from like Always Sunny in Philadelphia, like it's on a TV show. I don't understand.
Yeah.
It's just another example of like horrible double standards and like what people can say and do in the media with the UFC. Because I mean, while he was, when he first came in, highly touted, nobody knew who he was that wasn't like a crazy fan.
Yeah.
Like on SureDog. Like they have a SureDog account, which is like, you know, 50,000 people top in the world.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever it is. If it's more than that, sorry. But that's who's like posting on a message board. So like, yeah, I mean, I just feel like Miguel Torres, it'd be interesting to see what he would look like if he was 22 years old now. Because by the time he got to UFC, he was old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so this episode's kind of different because Ben and I don't really have any news set up. It's been kind of a crazy week. We've really been looking to the structure of the podcast and how we want to do it. Because we really like interviewing fighters. We were super happy with our Justin Willis interview. But we're going to start releasing those as separate podcast episodes. So we have a guest lined up for this week, but that'll be released after this episode. So getting into our picks for next week.
Yeah.
I guess we'll go ahead and jump right into that. And I say that way, if this one seems a little unstructured, it's because we're planning to get better and we have a lot of things in mind.
Well, before we go, and this shows you how wonderfully structured this is. Before we go to the picks, I do want to say a couple of things about like crystal ball of where this is all headed to. Because like Masvidal called out Conor.
Right.
And Diaz has come back to fight Pettis. So if Conor beats Masvidal and then
Diaz beats Pettis,
then I bet the way they would do it would be Khabib would fight Tony and Conor would fight Diaz. And if Tony falls out, you have Conor fight Khabib.
So you're saying that that's on the same card? Conor versus Nate is the co-main to Khabib and Tony?
If you want to really load a card right there.
I just don't see either one of those two agreeing to it. Like, it's hard for me to see Conor accepting that. And it's also hard for me to see Diaz accepting that too, because they both have pretty big heads.
Yeah, you're right. They wouldn't be the co-main.
Yeah.
You're right. It needs to be 5 rounds.
That
fight needs to be like 11 rounds, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like, also, I don't know that Conor is ever going to fight it. Like, he'll fight Khabib again at 155. But I don't know that he's really not just going to kind of show up at 170 every once in a while.
Make a little bit of cash every once in a while.
I think that he would have shown up if Askren had to do what Masvidal did to Askren. Like, I think he would have thought that he could do it.
Could you imagine that trash talk between Conor and Askren if that were to go down? Like, just imagine the press conference with those two.
Well, see, like, I don't know. That would be funny. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd definitely be funny, but I can't even imagine what would be said there.
I think that it's going to get a lot worse if it's Conor and Masvidal at a press conference.
Boy, that gets a lot more real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it get real before, so might as well do it again. But and then you have the whole Colby and Robbie.
Yeah, 170 is just a weird dilemma right now.
Yeah. And Leon Edwards is still hanging around.
Mm-hmm. Fighting. We'll get up to him. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get into that.
Let's do it.
Who you got for that fight? Leon Edwards versus Rafael dos Anjos.
I think that I'm going to take Edwards. I don't know if he's favored.
I don't think that he is.
I can understand why he wouldn't be.
And due to our Wi-Fi situation, I can't look it up right this second. But
I think it's going to be Leon Edwards did what he did to
Gunnar Nelson.
So I'm going to take him.
Yeah, and I'm actually agreeing with you. I think that a lot of people sleep on Edwards, but also a lot of people sleep on RDA too, because I usually do that, and I guess a lot of people are going to be saying that I'm doing that again this week. But I think that Leon Edwards is definitely one of the future top 5 contenders in that division.
Yeah.
I think that he beats RDA probably by decision. I don't see him finishing them because RDA is pretty tough and durable.
You don't see him guidoing him?
No, I don't see that happening. But yeah, I'll take Leon Edwards by unanimous decision. So,
yeah, that's probably the way it goes. It's 5 rounds though, man. Like, I don't know. If Edwards finishes him and then gets on the microphone and is like, I have a receipt for that 3-piece I ordered. I need to speak to the manager.
Yeah.
You know? Like something like that.
That fight has to happen at some point. There's no way that their paths don't cross in the future.
Yeah, I mean, like, so
Unless Edwards loses this fight, but
yeah, which you very well could.
yeah.
But I assume that Masvidal is going to lose his next fight. I think he's going to lose
Like, no matter
whoever
who
he
it's
fights.
okay.
Yeah.
I think that he loses to Usman. Like I said, even though, I mean, I'm a pretty big Conor fan, but at this point in their careers, I think that Masvidal probably beats Conor. But you said you think that
I think
Conor sleeps him?
I think Conor would put him to sleep.
I'd hope so, but I don't know. That one's kind of tough to call. Just because their boxing is both so good. And Masvidal is just kind of like in the zone right now. So it depends on how he shows up to it.
Like,
but his 2 wins have kind of been like, he had a good knockout against Till, but like you said, he did get dropped against Till. And then the Askren thing was like,
yeah, he got dropped against Till,
up.
and Till is such a different animal than Conor McGregor is. Like, the punches are not the same coming from Darren Till as they are coming from, like, and I'm not saying that as a knock on Darren Till. I'm saying that Darren Till is swinging like a sledgehammer, and like Conor hits really hard, but he does that Anderson Silva punch stuff where it's not necessarily that it's like, oh man, he's just laying him in there. It's this weird like stun gun stuff.
Yeah.
Where it's just perfect button shots where they're
like that Alvarez combination.
Yeah. Like, it's not like Eddie Alvarez doesn't know what to do with his hands. Like, I would assume that Eddie Alvarez would beat up Jorge Masvidal and finish him. That's how I would see that going. Like, honestly,
Dang.
Like, that's a horrible matchup for Jorge Masvidal. Eddie Alvarez. But Eddie is not in the same weight division as Jorge Masvidal.
Eddie's 155.
Yeah. So, like, that fight doesn't ever happen. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, I feel like if you want Masvidal to win a fight, then you need to go back in time and somehow not have James Vick fight Justin Gaethje. Like, you need him to, like, someone who's a good technical striker that has a lot of range, but isn't going to be, like, super pinpoint, quick, fast, and doesn't move their head. And it's going to get tired. Slow down and just bam, you know? Yeah. That's what you need with Masvidal. And I'm like, with Conor's weird karate stuff, I could just see him tagging him once with something and getting him to kind of like, oh, my body's not working right.
Like
and
stanky
then,
leg a little bit.
Yeah, and then he starts just do something. Do something, you know?
Yeah.
Basically Diazing him the way that he, you know,
Yeah.
Which is beautiful to see Conor get Diazed. Just get slapped. Beautiful.
Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, and I can't wait for it.
All right, man. So let's get into these picks.
All right. Picks for this upcoming weekend.
Yes. So,
starting off with the main event, we already said.
Main event.
Both got Leon Edwards.
Both got Edwards, but I'm not going to be surprised if RDA does what he did to Robbie Lawler.
Definitely not clear cut, but
yeah,
both going to pick the underdog in the situation. All right. So, co-main event, Alexei Oleinik and Walt Harris.
I think Oleinik is going to Ezekiel choke him.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I think that he taps him.
Yeah.
Heavyweight. Greg Hardy and Juan Adams.
That's right.
Prince of domestic violence is making a comeback.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. He's the Michael Jordan of MMA.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I mean, no disrespect to Greg Hardy in that statement by downing him as Michael Jordan. But, yeah.
Who you got?
I want Juan Adams to win. I want somebody to beat him up. But I've actually seen Juan Adams fight, and I don't know. I think it's a roll the dice. Like, they're going to bang, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be a stand-up battle between two huge guys that are cutting to 265. It's just that one was in the NFL. So I kind of favor him in most situations.
Sadly,
you know?
I do too. Yeah. But
unless he gets in there with like Mitrione, who was also like, I was there too, buddy. I've been doing this longer, and I can beat you up.
Yeah.
Like, somebody like that is who's going to stop him.
Yeah, if I had to bet, I would bet on Greg Hardy. So that's going to be my pick for him.
Yeah, I'll pick the other guy just because.
You going to pick Juan Adams?
Yeah.
All right.
Juan Adams.
Okay. James Vick versus Dan Hooker.
Yeah. I was hoping to be Michael Vick next. I have Greg Hardy, Michael Vick. Yeah. Ray Rice next on the card. They fight in an elevator.
Yeah.
John Jones has a fight in the intersection where he T-boned that lady. That'd be so good.
Yeah. Some good venues.
Goofballs. It's goofballs. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't care about that.
The Vic Hooker
James
fight.
Vick. Yeah. Didn't I just use him as an example?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was gonna say I think that Dan Hooker gets the win.
Refresh me on Hooker again.
Hooker,
He's a
he
kickboxer?
lost to Barboza in his last fight, but the
He
dude
lost
hung
to
in until
Barboza.
like 3 rounds until he took a knee or a kick, and then he just like collapsed. Dude's tough as nails.
But tough as
Good
nails
striker.
is not what you want to do against James Vick,
Yeah.
because James Vick is the Stefan Struve of 155. Like, he's
Yeah,
just
it's
so
true.
tall and long. It's like, what's going on here?
I think that Hooker's going to finish him. I think that he has enough skill too. So that's why I'm picking him.
So you think he's gagey?
Probably like a second round Gagey.
Okay. All right. I'll go with Vic.
Okay.
Yeah.
You think he snaps the losing streak?
I think as long as he doesn't fight someone who's unbreakable, he'll get it done.
Yeah. All right. And then Alexander Hernandez and Francisco Trinaldo.
Trinaldo.
Hernandez.
All right.
All right. Then finally on the main card, Andre Arlovsky versus Ben Rothwell.
That's a crazy fight in
Yeah.
2019. Like, it is insane to try and like put some kind of like money on it. So, Ben Rothwell is a 2-1 favorite, which is interesting, seeing as how Arlovsky knocked him out in Affliction back in the day, and knocked him out pretty brutally. Not the way that, like, I mean, it's not that when he lost to Cain Velasquez, it wasn't brutal, because that was pretty brutalizing.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I did think it was kind of it was a mercy stoppage. Like, Ben Rothwell wasn't going to win, but he also wasn't being separated from his consciousness.
Right.
He was just in a horrible position, get punched in the face, but his toughness was that he wasn't going to go out to Cain Velasquez's power. Because Cain never really had just
Like one punch knockout power.
serious power. He hurt people like with attrition,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't ever just one punch kill you. So, when you think about Rothwell losing to Arlovsky the last time, Arlovsky put him down and out.
Yeah.
So,
And you don't know how much of that's still in his head. Like
Yeah.
thinking back to that.
and you don't know how he looked like garbage against Blagoy. He came off that suspension
Where you
for
think
the
that-
roids.
Well, you talking about Rothwell?
Yeah,
See, but I thought he won the Blagoy fight.
I thought he did too, but he looked like garbage.
I guess.
You
I mean,
should
it wasn't.
style on Blagoy. Blagoy's good at making
Yeah.
people look
Blagoy
bad.
impressed me. Yeah, because he beat Ty pretty bad. And I was like high on Ty Tuivasa.
You shouldn't be.
Justin Willis is mad at me if he's listening to this.
Yeah, I mean,
Thinking about that.
but like as a completely like unbiased person here, like you shouldn't be high on Tai Tuivasa. No offense, but like,
Calling him out right here.
I mean, I feel like his ceiling is correct. He's not Mark Hunt. He's from the same place. He's built the same kind of way. He does the same kind of things, just not as well.
That's a fair assessment right now. I'm not disagreeing with that.
It's kind of like whenever Rory McDonald showed up and everyone was like,
GSP.
GSP.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, he kind of looks like Marilyn Manson or that kid from the Wonder Years grown up. Like, no, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps up this episode.
Yeah, man.
Thank you guys for listening to this. If you have any questions or anything, please contact either Ben or me. You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at The Fight Addicts, or follow mine and Ben's personal Twitter accounts at TFA_Seth and at TFA_Ben. Listen to episode number 17 with our upcoming guests at the end of the week, and we will see you guys next time.
Peace.